Daily success, daily success. Plan the week ahead, be excellent. Make money moves, achieve your goals. Transform your life, one routine at a time. Daily success, daily success. Go and get yours. You better go get yours.
Welcome back to the show. Today, I want to share one more training with you from the Plannerpalooza Get Organized challenge that we recently hosted. And if you are just hearing about this Plannerpalooza challenge, then you definitely want to go back and check out the last 2 episodes. And as I mentioned, we've been, as a company, hosting a Get Organized challenge. And the idea really sparked from knowing that a lot of people's spaces, their physical spaces, get changed, cluttered, rearranged during the holidays because they have family that are coming over, guests, friends, a lot of hosting is happening, or you have gifts and new items that you might have bought into your home that now need to find a place to live. And so what I've found in my years of working with thousands of entrepreneurs and business leaders across the country and internationally in this work is that having clutter in your physical space can really be a barrier to moving specific things that you want to achieve forward. And so we put together this challenge so that you could be able to clear out the clutter and become more focused so that you can enjoy life, work, kids, family, pay bills, and conquer your goals. So during Plannerpalooza, we tackled several areas like cleaning out your email inbox, setting up a command center that would manage all of the paper piles, mail, and calendaring, family calendaring in the household. We also talked about how you can stay focused and accomplish your goals, create weekly schedules that include time for self-care and business building. And then we had a whole action planning party to wrap everything up. I mean, it was a lot of fun. We had so many people that were engaged and attended for several days, for all of the days of Plannerpalooza, or people who attended for several days of the Plannerpalooza. So I just feel very proud of this work and the difference that it's going to make in your life. Now, what I'm going to share today is a small clip from the training that we did on planning a weekly schedule for self-care, business building, and working a 9-to-5. But I do want to invite you to enjoy all of the trainings from Plannerpalooza. And you can do that by going to my YouTube page, which is Jamila Payne. So search for Jamila Payne on YouTube, JamilAPayne. Or you can find them inside of our private Facebook community where the Success Squad hangs out. And so that is facebook.com/groups/daily success insiders. All right. I won't leave you in tease mode any longer. Time to jump into today's episode. Now, one last thing. Okay. I guess I am still teasing you. One last thing, which is your action item for this episode. So here at the Daily Success Show, I'm all about making sure that you can take action to achieve your goals and keep a schedule and live your dream life. And so the action for today is to go to our show website for this post. So you can go to shows.dailysuccessroutine.com. And on the episode for today, I would love for you to share what's something that you learned from today's episode in terms of being able to include time for self-care, business building, and working your 9-to-5 that you are going to implement, Or I'd love to hear anything that you have been doing that has been working for you. So that way we can learn from each other. So there may be something that you're doing right now that has allowed you to kind of squeeze in time for self-care and running a business or side hustle along with working that 9 to 5. All right. So that's it. No more teasers. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode.
All right, let's start off by first talking about some common reasons for a mismanaged day. And so if you have felt like the day just constantly gets ahead of you, or you're a bad time manager, or you start out the day with like this perfect picture of all of the things that you want to accomplish, but most of it never happens. These are some common reasons why you might be experiencing that. And I would love for you to share in the chat which numbers are most true for you. So is it 1, that you have no advanced plan of objectives before the day starts? That means, let's say tomorrow is Friday, you have not on Thursday made decisions about what you're going to do on Friday. You might be waking up Friday or getting to your desk on Friday and then making decisions about what you're going to do. And I just want to let you know that you will often feel behind if you are waiting until the day of to plan out what you're going to accomplish. And the reason why is fundamentally the clock has already started ticking, right? So you're losing time, and internally we can feel like we're losing time because it might already be 8, 9, 10 o'clock whenever you're starting your workday, and you still haven't figured out what your priorities are, okay? Number 2 is people pleasing. People will email you, show up at your desk, ring your phone and say, hey, can you help me with X, Y, Z? And you stop what you're doing and just jump in to help, okay? And there's nothing wrong with being helpful, but we're gonna talk about this today a little bit more, that it's important that you actually have a ability to look at your calendar and figure out when you can help, instead of just stopping what you're doing every time somebody asks for your help, insights, or support. The third reason that I often see is that you're multitasking. You're trying to move forward too many projects, plans, and objectives at the same time. There's actually a scientific study that shows that multitasking actually decreases intelligence. Did you know that? It's so crazy. So you may be trying to do all of these things and feel like, you know, it's productive, but in reality, trying to do multiple things is detrimental to your brain health. And why is that? Well, it's because think of the brain like a light switch. Every time you start a new task, essentially you turn the light on and then the brain begins to focus on that task. But when you switch to another task, the light goes off and then back on for the new task. So literally you're like a flickering light in your brain when you're trying to do too many things at the same time. Okay, number 4 is that you have an unrealistic to-do list. Maybe you have 4 hours available to conquer work, but you have 20 things on your to-dos, which would actually take about 12 hours of work, okay? So if you're starting off the day with an unrealistic to-do in the first place, then you're always going to end the day feeling like you completely failed because you only checked 2, 3, or 5 items off of a 20-item to-do list. This also leads to you continuing to work at home or not feeling like you've done enough work to be able to move on and do something personally, because as you keep looking at your list for like affirmation, like, yes, I have achieved enough today, your list is telling you, no, you haven't. You've only checked 3 things off of the 20 items. All right, so that could also be a detriment for you. Number 5 is that you just don't honor self-commitments. You say you're gonna do something, go to the gym, read a book, meal plan, cook dinner for yourself, whatever, work on your business, but you don't follow through. And that lack of self-commitment, prevents you from getting the things that you want to get done that will move your own dreams and goals forward. Number 6 is lack of focus. And so you're not actually clear on what you're supposed to do to get the results that you want. And that can be a detriment to being able to manage your day. And then number 7, and oh man, this is juicy, especially for my business owners and entrepreneurs in the room, that you might be focusing on low value tasks. And the way that I like describing this is saying that you're working on the $10 an hour task in your life and business instead of the $100 an hour task. Now, this is a concept, like a way to think about this. This isn't really related to how much you earn. This is about a $10 an hour task. Let's just say if $10 an hour, you are working, someone could be a personal assistant where you might be picking up dry cleaning or going to the grocery store, or you might be, working at a fast food place where they have a process for you to follow. Basically, what I'm saying is a $10 an hour task in your life or in your business is a task that doesn't, in particular, require a lot of skill. Like you don't have to be a, expert chef, right, to go pick up somebody's groceries from the grocery store. You don't have to be an expert in fashion to pick up someone's dry cleaning. But a $100 an hour task is something that actually takes a specific level of expertise. So this is the things that you are uniquely good at. And so you want to be able to spend more of your time, or at least prioritize your time, to focus on the $100 task in your life and in your business, and less of the $10 an hour task. Does that make sense? So I want to see in the chat which of these numbers most speak to you in terms of when your day goes awry, you feel like it's mismanaged, you're not doing well in terms of how you're spending your time. What is it that most shows up for you? Okay, Jessica says 2, 3, and 5. Shanika, number 3. Gianna, is it Gianna or Janina? Says Giannina, 2 to 5. Yasmin says 5 and 7. Candace, number 4. Aisha, 5, 6, and 7. Julianne, 2, 3, and 5. Yes, so most of us have several of these things that typically hold us back, and it's important that we get clear on what they are. And so I want you to look for kind of the nuggets today that specifically address the challenges that you are facing, whether that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, or multiple ones, because we're definitely going to tackle them all. All right, Janina. Okay, great. I love that. Pi, am I saying your name right? Is it Pi or Paya? P-A-I. 2 vowels are like totally throwing me. Oh, it's paying. It's like paying. Oh, that's a really cool name. What does it mean? I'm so taken now. Okay, someone's getting creative and drawing on the screen. Just erase it. Don't worry. All right, so here we go. Lifestyle habits don't go on a list. So give me a Y in the chat box for yes if you have ever. Shanika, got it. Thank you. I love this. I love learning names. I actually really pride myself on learning names that people don't typically know how to say. This probably comes from, I lived in South Africa for 2 years, and so there were a lot of unique names, and so I was able to master a lot of them. Okay, so lifestyle habits don't go on a list. So give me a Y in the chat box if you put things like going to the gym or your meal planning on your to-do list. Give me a Y if you've ever done that. Some Y's, some Y's, some Y's. Okay, lots of Y's. As Jessica says, as for sometimes. Okay, cool. So here's the thing. Your to-do list gets constantly renegotiated. because your priorities change. What you're doing from day to day changes. What you're doing from hour to hour can even change, especially depending on what field you work in. Imagine if you're a medical professional, you may be dealing with a group of patients that are not urgent, and then all of a sudden you get a patient that is urgent, right? So your priorities change. This is why your lifestyle habits don't actually go on your to-do list, because what happens is they often get negotiated off. They get reprioritized to unimportant or non-existent, and your health and well-being is a non-negotiable. So when it comes to lifestyle habits, the way that you want to manage them is you either want to put them on a habit tracker, so you have some kind of tool that contains a habit tracker, or you want to directly put them onto your calendar. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Okay, so next we want to talk about routines. Routines will get you results every time. Routines will help you in terms of setting up your week and managing your day, because it helps you to autopilot your goals, putting them at the top of your priorities. And it helps you to make sure that you follow through and be able to build a habit around it. So why are routines important? It puts a practice in place for you. It helps separate your lifestyle items for to-dos. So remember how I said you track your lifestyle items on your calendar or on a habit tracker? Well, you practice them in a routine. So if you create a routine around your lifestyle items, like your meal planning, going to the gym, writing your business plan, working on your podcast, working on your book writing, working on your blog writing, doing your articles, like whatever it is, your thing that you want to make happen, you want to put that into a routine so that it becomes a habit. Routines make taking action a habit. So I wanted to share with you 6 essential routines that you can use that you might not already be using. Because I think too often we talk about the morning routine. Everyone knows about that, but there's other routines that are helpful. So let me just say something quickly about the morning routine. Your morning routine should help you to figure out, have I set up my day to win? Like, do I wake up, jump out of bed, ready to get at it? And so you want to make sure that you have a morning routine that allows you to do that. That is a great way to be able to set up your week and set up your day. Second is your hour of power routine. Hour of power is being able to spend 1 hour every day towards your 90-day project goals. So if you join the Plannerpalooza on Monday, you know that we talked about project-based goals. So every hour, so at least 1 hour every day, you want to be spending time towards your projects. I do my hour of power first thing in the morning so that nothing ever gets in the way of it. That's what we teach at Daily Success Routine. But you have to do it whenever you can if it's not feasible for you to do it in the morning. And when I mean first thing in the morning, I mean the first thing I do as a part of my workday. I don't mean the first thing I do when I get out of bed. But let's say if you're working a 9-to-5 and running a business and you're up early, then hey, maybe you want to take an hour of your morning before you go into work to be able to work towards your business goals. Okay, the third type of routine is a work day wrap-up routine. And this is for all my workaholics. Let me get a W in the chat box. If you are constantly like in work mode, it's hard to turn it off. You're going to bed, laying down, making a mental to-do list of stuff that you didn't finish or need to do tomorrow. Okay, I'm seeing Crystal, Janina, Shanika. Haha, I got it. Julianne, okay, so lots of W's in the chat. So your workday wrap-up routine will basically help you to transition from work mode to everything else in your life, personal mode. So you want to have something that you're doing to make that mental shift. One of my clients right now shared that her workday wrap-up routine is she uses her Alexa to go, like it's automatically set on a timer and it just starts playing in her office around 5 o'clock. Like she has a playlist that comes on that is like her signal that it's time to wrap up. Another client told me that her workday wrap-up routine is that when she gets home from work, before she even like says hello to her husband or kids, she literally like comes in the house, runs upstairs, puts on jeans, and then comes down and then like really greets everybody. And she says she doesn't know what it is, but something about like transitioning from, and she's like an executive in a company. And so she said really like transitioning from her clothes kind of gets her out of like that hard driving mentality that she has to have at work as an executive, more into being able to be a wife and a mom and like feeling, you know, more relaxed at home. It just makes that mental transition for her. So number 4 is a power down routine. And so if you've had the experience of going to bed, still having things on your mind or struggling to sleep, then a power down routine will be helpful for you, because it helps you to kind of let go of the day so that you can have a restful sleep. If the day is still running through your head, you know, our brain is always working even when we're sleeping. And so if you haven't put to rest some things that are on your mind, it will prevent you from getting high quality sleep. And so you might have a practice of keeping a little notepad by your bed, or maybe you have your planner by your bed and you write down the things that you're intending to accomplish tomorrow, or things that you didn't get to today, so you can just kind of get it out of your mind and onto paper and be able to let it go so that you can have a restful sleep. 5 is the prep routine. And I'm going to tell you, like, this is probably one of the most critical, because as I've talked to thousands of entrepreneurs, business leaders, and career professionals across the US, what I often find is that they have no system or process for preparing for the things that they need to deliver at work or in their life. So let's just say that you're the head of the PTA, or you're a leader of a committee in your church or in your professional organization, and you're leading meetings. Well, if you're like throwing together the agenda right before the meeting earlier that day, you haven't had time to necessarily do the proper prep work. Like, there's probably more that you would have included in the meeting. There might have been additional documents that you shared with everyone if you had only properly prepared. Let's say that you're having meetings at work. Like, you don't want to just show up to those meetings cold, like walking in like, yeah, I'm just gonna go with the flow and like see what happens. You want to be anticipating, what is this meeting going to be about? What are we talking about? Should I have any documents on hand? Have you ever been in a meeting and had the experience of someone asking you a question and you feel totally blindsided? Like, oh man, I wish I would have thought about this before I arrived, because I would have been more prepared and not felt blindsided. And so prep is really critical to really just showing up like a pro in your life, at work, and in your business. And then finally, and we'll delve into this a little bit more in a second, is a self-care routine. You want a regular practice for making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So I want to hear in the chat, of the six essential routines, which one sounds like something that you want to implement? Like, okay, this is the thing that I've been missing in my life. Like, I definitely need to try to put this in place. Is it the morning routine, hour of power, workday wrap up, power down, prep, or self-care? Okay, I'm seeing number 5, prep routine. 4 for Aisha, power down. Shanika says number 3, workday wrap up, more hour of power. Crystal, number 2. Jessica, number 6. Okay, I'm seeing lots of 6s. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yes, that self-care is so essential. So essential, in fact, that we're going to talk more about it. So here's your checklist or your checkpoints. When you go to design that routine, whether it's the morning, the workday wrap up, the hour of power, I want you to ask yourself these key questions. First is, how do you want to feel? So your routine should help create certain feelings that you want to generate in your day. You should also ask yourself, what do I want to be thinking? So, you know how we talked about the power down routine? Maybe at night you want to just be thinking about things you're grateful for, or how you won the day, or letting go of any drama for the day. Like, you don't want to be in bed. Like, I used to have this experience. This is so funny. I used to have the experience of, at night, let's say if I had a challenging day, or I had some kind of like customer service, like altercation or something like that. When I laid down at night, I was literally like still like cursing the person out in my head. Like, that I should have said this and they pissed me off and I don't know why. And then I used to have these like really unrestful sleeps because those little mini dramas in the day were still on my mind when I went to bed. So it's important that you consider, like, what do I want to be thinking? What can the routine help you create in terms of your thoughts? You also want to consider, what actions do you want to take? A routine, remember, is a way of building habits in order to take very specific actions to get the results that you want. And then finally, what is the end result that you want? So as you design your routine, whether it's for the morning, for your workday wrap up, your power down, your prep routine, I want you to consider these questions to make sure that you have designed the best routine for what you want to accomplish. All right? Okay, so now let's talk about self-care and making self-care a priority. And you can achieve anything. You can't achieve anything, actually, is what I meant to say. You cannot achieve anything if you are burnt out. And that is real talk. And I'm curious, give me a B in the chat if you have had the experience of being burnt out, feeling burnt out and overwhelmed in a way that was preventing you from actually moving forward. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of B's, several B's. Okay, I'm not alone. Last 3 weeks. Hey, Shonda. Okay, crashed. Oh my goodness. Okay, so a lot of B's. A lot of people have struggled with feeling burnt out. Okay, awesome. I'm so thankful for you admitting that. So that'll help us to be able to manage it a lot better. So let's talk about how to make self-care a priority and why it's so important. You cannot give more than what you have, like point blank period. You cannot give more than what you have. And if you are feeling taxed in terms of what you are giving to other people, then there's not going to be anything left from you. You are just going to keep like giving and giving and giving to others. So you have to make yourself a priority. I feel like I've said that 5 times now. All right. The other thing why self-care is important is that it creates creative stimulation. But let me just say one more thing actually about making yourself a priority. If you've had the experience of feeling frustrated when a colleague comes to you and asks you for help, or let's say that you have a family member that asks you to take on something, or a friend that asks you to take on something, and then when they ask you, you actually feel a little bit annoyed that they're asking you, but you still say yes anyway, this is a sign that you are not caring enough for yourself, that you are not spending enough time on your own self-care. Or even worse, maybe your children ask you for things and you feel super annoyed. It really means that that is like a red flag that you need to spend time on your own self-care, because you're basically filled up with things that you're doing for other people, OPP, as I like to say, other people's priority. Self-care also creates creative stimulation. Like if you think to a time where you went to a movie or an art gallery or a festival or a performance, and then you started having all of these like ideas for yourself, your life, your business, what you want to create in the world. So actually doing things for yourself helps you to get generative with ideas about being able to move your goals and dreams and plans forward. And if nothing else, self-care obviously creates more joy. I know that I personally feel like really joyful when I come out of a massage, or even the simple task of like getting my hair done or getting my nails done, a mani-pedi. Like, it allows me to just feel a little bit more joy, like, oh, somebody took care of me for a few minutes. And so I want you to think about these things when you consider your own self-care, right? So focus on that. You having self-care allows you to be a better giver in your life and not giving from an empty place. It allows you to be more creatively stimulated, and it allows you to be a more joyful person. And if you are walking around angry or hangry all the time, like hungry, angry, and overloaded, right? Then you definitely need to look at how to create more joy in your life. So there's two types of self-care that we teach at Daily Success Routine. The first is soul goals. Soul goals are something that you can do for yourself every day. It only needs to take 15 minutes. If you can go longer, great, but it only needs to take 15 minutes. Then there are self-care routines. So that might be having a regular scheduled routine of doing something to care for yourself. That might be something like I mentioned, where you have a, once a month or once every 2 weeks mani-pedi, or a bi-weekly hair appointment, or maybe once a month you get a massage or go to the spa. Whatever it is for you. Maybe that's going to the gym is like part of your self-care routine. Actually, for me, I looked at the gym as mostly on the health side of things, like just taking care of my health in general. But a part of it actually became more self-care. And the self-care piece is the sauna. So what I found is that instead of like just, having a glass of wine at the end of the day, which is also great, like going and sitting in the sauna actually helps me to release and relax in a way that I've often felt challenged to do, like to kind of come down off of that high of the day and the energy of like needing to make so many things happen. It's important to have a go-to for being able to decompress. And I want to just say this kind of additional nugget. If you are struggling to get up in the morning at the time that you want to get up at, I am almost certain that for many people, and this is not true for everybody, but it's true for a large amount of people, that the reason why you are not getting up is because you're not going to bed at the time that you need to go to bed to get up. And the reason that you're not going to bed at the time that you need to get up is because your day is running so long. So you might work from 9 to 5, come home, eat dinner, jump back on the computer, continue additional work, or maybe you're on conference calls when you get home for board meetings and church programs and all sorts of things that you're involved in. And then finally around 10 o'clock, you wrap up your day, and then you don't feel decompressed, or you don't feel that there's time to do anything for you. And so you end up staying up late so that you can finally like watch that show that you've been waiting to watch, or be on YouTube, like checking out some videos or doing things that you want to do. And then before you know it, another hour, 2 hours, 3 hours has gone by. And then you're finally at a place where you feel like you can go to bed, or more than likely, it's not even you feel like you can go to bed. You're like, damn, I just have to go to bed because it's already 1 o'clock in the morning. So if anybody resonates with that, let me just get a T in the chat box for true, that you've had that experience of just, not feeling decompressed in a way that you can actually go to bed. Okay, thanks. I see you preach in the chat box. Crystal says, true for me, literally was my focus for the week. Okay, nice. Jasmine says, help others by helping yourself. Amen to that. Okay, I'm seeing lots of T's. T, 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 T. Awesome. So this is why having these two types of routines are really critical for your self-care. So I want to hear, if you just think about 15 minutes, right, a soul goal, what's something that you might be able to do tomorrow with just 15 minutes of time. Feel free to share it in the chat box. Let's share some ideas, because what somebody says is going to spark something for somebody else. And so let me just say this, in particular when it comes to the soul goals. The time can be short. One of the reasons why you might not be taking time for self-care is because you feel like it needs to be a significant amount of time, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and that is absolutely not true. You can spend just 15 minutes for your own self-care every day, and it will just help you to kind of fill up your personal cup a little bit more so that you're not fully depleted. Your self-care requires no one else. And I'll say this about the ladies in particular. We always try to include people on our self-care. Oh, I'm going to ask a friend to go to this movie with me, or go for a walk with me, or I want me and my significant other to read this book together, or go to the gym with me. And I just want you to adopt a practice that your self-care does not require anyone else. And in fact, it shouldn't require anyone else, because let's just say that your friend or your significant other doesn't feel like going for a walk today, or they back out of going to a movie, or they don't want to read the book that you want to read. You don't want to be in a place of just not doing it because they don't want to do it. Your self-care is only meant to fill up your soul. It doesn't have to fill up anyone else's. And then finally, it should generate good vibes, right? So you should just feel good about whatever that self-care activity is that you decide on.
Hey, do you want to ensure you follow through on your goals? Then I want to invite you to join the Daily Success Achievers Club. First, you'll decide on what 90-day project you want to accomplish, start the business, write a book, create your workshop, let go of the weight, anything you want. Then we'll put a schedule in place, optimize your productivity, and I'll hold you accountable to getting it done using my proven system. It's 100% risk-free. You either follow the roadmap and achieve your goals, or I'll refund your membership fee. Just go to dailysuccessroutine.com and click on the Achievers Club to get all of the details. I'll see you inside the club.
Daily success, daily success. Plan the week ahead, be excellent. Make money moves, achieve your goals. Transform your life, one routine at a time. Daily success, daily success. Go and get yours. You better go get yours. Daily success, daily success, daily success. You better go get yours. Daily success, daily success, daily success, daily success.